Gemini. Thank you for joining me for your July reading. Very exciting. Very much looking forward to seeing what is in your cards. But before we talk about your cards, we're going to talk about your stars. So each and every one of us experienced a lunar eclipse on July 5th. So a lunar eclipse is like a full moon on steroids. Full moons indicate culmination, completion. You know, if you can think of the fact that, like, I like to compare a full moon to a pot of boiling water. With a pot of boiling water, either you can cook something up that is delicious and ready to eat and amazing, or if you don't pay attention to your pot, it can boil over and create a little bit of a mess. And that's full moons. They require our attention. And this full moon for you, Gemini, was rising in your 8th house, which is the house of intimacy and the other, less politely known as the house of sex, death, power, and other people's money. So pretty intense. A full moon indicates a need to look at what is the balance of power in your life? With whom might you partner? Like I said, this is the house of sex, so this indicates people that you have that kind of sexual relationship with, whether it's monogamous or not, whomever you might be having that kind of intimacy with. But sex isn't the only way that we can be intimate with people, right? So this also indicates those relationships that are extremely deep, extremely passionate. And where might there be a bit of a change necessary? Are things, Spirit's dropping cards, are things getting maybe a little too intense in some area of your life? A full moon, and again a lunar eclipse even more so, often indicates an ending. The energy has like reached its height, and then the moon starts to drain, right? As we move back toward a new moon. As the energy leaves that place, it's like the tension comes down. And the idea is also that we can see things a little clearer by the time of the new moon, because if we think of the light filling up the moon as the boiling water, or our emotions kind of rising, and then the full moon is the pinnacle. When the light drains, our emotions lower. We have a little less attachment. We have a little less like fervor, and we can start to see things more clearly. So throughout this month will be a really good time for you to look at your debts, your investments, because again, other people's money. So money that is shared, whether with a spouse, whether roommate, however, again, balances of power. You may also be looking at kind of a new venture. You may be deciding to invest in something, and it is a pretty portentous time to do so if you know for sure that you are aligned with this thing that you want to give your power to or take some power from. What I'm hearing, I haven't pulled a single damn card yet. For some of you, this could have to do with somebody wanting to platform you. Like, hey, come on our podcast, or hey, come on this YouTube channel, or whatever. Or hey, we want to publish your piece on this website. Pretty exciting stuff. Just, I would say, be sure, again, that whatever entity might be wanting to show you off or put you on, make sure that you really identify with their values, and that there won't be an imbalance of power. Does that make sense? I'll be curious if we see something like the Justice card in your reading, because Spirit is showing me like contracts. So, I mean, 8th house would be kind of like, in the modern day, we might think of that as the house of non-disclosure agreements too, because it's the house where all the down and dirty stuff happens, like dirty money, dirty sex, like, or not dirty money, not dirty sex, depending on what you like, what aligns with your values. So just make sure, always good advice, Gemini, but in particular that when it comes to the things that you share, your body, your money, your work, your creativity, that you are sharing them with entities that align with you. Okay? Okay. Now, let's get into your cards. Wow. You probably couldn't see that just like fly out. No idea what it is yet, not gonna peek. But Spirit was like, yeah, let's do it. Okay. Gemini Sun, Gemini Moon, Gemini Rising. Going fast, appropriate to Gemini. Spirit, what do they need to know for their highest good? Spirit Sun, Moon, Rising, and Dominant People. What do Geminis need to know in the month of July for their highest good? The month of July. Gemini. Gemini sun, moon, rising, dominant people, or if any cross watchers out here, what they need to know the truth about Gemini. Don't even know how many cards that is. We about to find out. Yep, you got a bonus card, Gemini. Let's get into it. In July. Loved ones, guides, guardians of Gemini. Whew. Sex, death, and other people's money. Well, holy hell, Gemini. All right. Something is changing, Gemini, and it does feel like it is changing kind of without your permission. I feel like you are being set on a bit of a new course. Now, some of you have been considering and thinking about doing something new for a little while. And lunar eclipses do imply endings and new beginnings. The Tower is at the center of your reading. We're not going to beat around the bush, Gemini. The Tower, most human beings are not fans of change of change of any kind, honestly, but especially change that comes without their permission. Something like, oh, sorry, there's a shakeup at the job and now you need to do this, or now you're out of that. Or, sorry, this property was just bought by somebody, so you're going to have to find a new place to live because the new owners don't want blah, 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 or whatever. Something that just from the outside comes and throws you for a loop. And I'm actually a bit encouraged, and bear with me, I'll explain. I'm a bit encouraged by the fact that the Hanged One is crossing this tower. Because the thing about the Hanged One is they approach their life being turned upside down with reflection and with calm. The Hanged One hangs by their ankle, not by their neck. The same way the Tower will fuck your shit up and make you feel like everything is upside down. But there is also a need to kind of trust the process. There is a need to operate within the confines of whatever is going on. So it's like, yes, I could sit here, and some of you may just be like, well, I hate this and this sucks, and that's true. Like, so Gemini, again, these are general readings. But whatever you might lose this month, from the smallest thing to the biggest thing, Spirit wants to give you a little bit of a warning that staring and only looking at, let me just put it like that, only looking at what's not working, what has tipped over, is not going to help you come up with new ideas. And Spirit is bringing you something new, okay? Anytime our cups get knocked over, it's not because we weren't good enough or blah, blah, blah. We have to accept that for whatever reason, or have to accept anything, okay? Your free will is everything. You accept it or don't accept it. That's totally okay. But coming from a spiritual perspective, we kind of have to accept and work within the confines of what happens to us. And when we do that, the most fruitful, juicy, beautiful blessings can come in. And I know that how that can sound. So for those of you that might be going through a tower moment, we're in a fucking pandemic. We're going through, if you're in the US, I mean, honestly, if you're anywhere, but especially if you're in the US right now, there is the cultural upheaval is real. And some people are feeling very thrown for a loop. Like they don't even know who they are, who the people around them are. Some of you might be experiencing that feeling of, wow, I thought I knew this person, and then like I went on, you know, their Twitter or their Facebook and saw some things that just made me like, okay, all right, I think I'm done. Like, I don't know why they're showing me that, but that's what they're showing me. So some of you, it might be kind of like Spirit just said, kill your heroes. For those of you who have never heard that saying, it's not a literal saying at all. It is, oof, God. Okay, now we're getting like real. Okay, I don't know why they're bringing this up. Maybe because some of you are okay. When right after Spirit said kill your heroes and they were starting to explain what that is, they brought up J.K. Rowling. Okay, so recently, for those of you who don't know, J.K. Rowling, she's been doing this for a while, but she's like done it again, where she comes out and puts out a bunch of really anti-trans kind of hateful stuff. And for some of you, it may be like, wow, damn, like I love Harry Potter, like that's my shit, like, and like I got all these lessons about, you know, be exactly who you are, and everyone is unique and magical and etc. And yet here's my, you know, my idol, this author that I adored, saying these things that seem anathema. So not that. Kill your heroes. What does that mean? Everybody is flawed. Everybody. The best of us, the most intelligent, the kindest, the nicest, the smartest, the whatever. We're all a little fucked up, okay? And that's not denigrating to say. It is what it is. We all have traumas. We all have blind spots. And the sooner we make peace with that, this Spirit is tying this all together. The sooner we make peace with the fact that we ourselves have flaws and blind spots, the sooner they become no longer blind spots. Because here's the thing, if I know where my blind spot is, I can check it. You know what I'm saying? Check your blind spot, Gemini. Maybe some of you take that literally and be extra careful, but I'm really feeling like philosophically speaking, emotionally speaking, notice where your blind spots are. The Hanged Man, this Tower moment is offering you guys a little bit of revelation and a little bit of like, maybe I've been thinking that I was on one path, but actually there are lots of possibilities for me, or especially this one other possibility that I really want to go for. And maybe, yeah, like it had to be taken out from under me for me to turn around and go for it. But I think you should turn around and go for it. It kind of feels like out with the old, in with the new. Ace of Cups is showing up in the position of where you find yourself. So life, God, universe, however you want to think of it, is offering you this incredible blessing. Something that is just the beginning, but you can develop into your whole thing. Queen of Cups is in the final position, the conclusion / key. So Gemini, you're an air sign. You're more comfortable in your head. You're more comfortable with your thoughts than with your feelings, unless maybe you have, you know, some Cancer or some other watery placements up there. Sometimes it can be a little rough for you to go by your feelings. But that's your advice this month, is to trust yourself, is to, here's the other thing they're telling me. Whenever we have a court card in our reading, and whenever we encounter a court card in life, yes, that represents another person, but we encounter that person or that card because it is also meant to activate and resonate that same energy within us, the way that we all have a Queen of Cups inside. And Queen and King have nothing to do with sex or gender, everything to do with personality type. So you can be a male Queen of Cups, you can be a female King of Wands. You are the Queen of Cups in this reading, and Spirit is asking you to reflect, and perhaps also to seek the Queen of Cups in your life. Queen of Cups, again, is a queen of emotions, queen of intuition, someone who you feel like when they look at you, they really see you. And when you talk to them, they really hear you and listen. And they can very gently reflect the truth back to you and help you understand what you want, what you're feeling, what you don't want, what you're afraid of, the blind spots. This person can help you with your blind spots, Spirit just said. So this could be a very spiritual person, or just a very like compassionate person. Like they might be literally intuitive, or they might just be the kind of friend that's like the kind of like shoulder to cry on. Like this person will always listen to me and hear me out and give me really good, heartfelt, sound advice. Okay? I want to make a note before I talk about this next thing that you have a beautiful card crowning your reading. Four of Wands. Some of you may be having a party or celebrating some kind of anniversary this month. But in one way or another, I feel like Spirit wants to let you know that you are safe, that you will be protected. The Four of Wands is the card of the happy home. So if some of you are concerned about, again, like I'm being kicked out of the place that I live, or I've just lost my job, am I going to be okay? I feel like Spirit wants to tell you your foundation is still going to be there. The people that you need are still going to be there for you and provide for you. So there's no worries about that. Which also brings me to the King of Wands, who is sitting in the position of who or what is around you and available to you. And again, King has nothing to do with sex or gender. And for some of you, I actually very directly feel a feminine energy associated with this King of Wands. This could be your partner, romantically or business. I feel very much like the Queen of Cups and the King of Wands come in as a pair. And they're opposites. Opposites attract. Water and fire, right? What do they create together? A little bit of steam heat. So that's kind of nice. But here's the thing. The King of Wands is somebody, Spirit is saying, extremely brave in your life. For some of you, I really feel like spouse energy. For some of you, spouse or partner energy. But for others of you, this could be a mentor. This could be just a good friend. But Queen and King says that you all work well together, even though you have different approaches and different kind of specialties. The King of Wands is going to be there for you as a very encouraging presence. Like, here's what we can do about that. You know, you come to them and say, oh my God, this fucking tower moment just happened and I have no idea what I'm going to do. Like, this just got... Spirit just said some of you might like do art or conventions, because Spirit just said like it could even just be like, well, that was canceled and now that's canceled and now that's canceled. What am I even supposed to do? This King of Wands person can kind of function as a creative mentor, because this is how you're going to know who this is in your life, whether you've met them or whether you're going to encounter them. The King of Wands is somebody who is a creative from the ground up. They do not just say, I have an idea for a movie. They're writing and filming and casting their movie. They're not waiting for anybody else to do it for them. They're doing it. So it's like, okay, well, I'm going to self-publish then because I want to make my book or whatever. This person might come in and give you some really good kind of get up and go energy and advice. And I would advise you, even if you're feeling Five of Cups, even if you're feeling Hanged One of like, it's out of my hands, I don't even know what to do. The thing about the Hanged One, her hands are hidden behind her back, right? We can't see what magic she might be working. Maybe she's, crafting herself a tool to cut herself down. Or maybe she is solving a puzzle that she didn't have the time to solve until she was hung upside down from a fucking tree. And then she's going to have this epiphany and come down a different person. That's what happens to the Hanged One. The Hanged One, like Odin, the Allfather in Norse mythology, he sacrificed his eye and hung himself upside down from the world tree. He sacrificed his sight for sight with a capital S, psychic sight. So what you give up in comparison to what you receive. If you can operate from that level of, okay, all right, if you're going to take that, then there must be something waiting to come fill up that space. If you can operate from that place, you're going to have better luck. The Ace of Cups, like I said earlier, is in the position of where you find yourself. So this gift coming at you. But in the potential position, the most sort of malleable and influenceable position in the spread, we have the Four of Cups. So there is the possibility that this hand coming out of the cloud at you, you might be like, no, I'm over it. I don't care. I don't see it because it's not one of these cups. You notice how they're both staring down at the 3 cups. It should have been like this. Like, this is how it's supposed to be. And if it's not like that, I don't give a fuck about it. But meanwhile, Spirit's like, listen, you thought that that was the best thing for you or the only thing for you. But we're coming in and saying, this is what we want you to have. This is what you really need. When we remove the blind spot or look right at it and check it, guess what was in your blind spot? Guess what's in your blind spot? A big ol' fucking blessing, Gemini. Do you know what it is? If you don't, talk to your King of Wands. Consult a Queen of Cups. Let them help you make sense of it. Because on the other side of the 5 of Cups, you are pondering a new move. You have a recognition that, okay, fine, maybe I've learned all I needed to learn from that place where I was, that tower where I was. Now it's time to take my walking stick and go on a new adventure. And like I said, you'd been thinking about it anyway, Gemini. You'd been thinking about it, and maybe the universe is just kind of, as the tower is wont to do, pushing you out of the nest. The tower doesn't fall unless it's built on shaky ground. If it were built on firm ground, it would never fall. So the tower is something that is artifice, that is not real, that needs to go so that you can really see things for what they are. And what they are is maybe better than you might think right at first. But get a little assistance. This was your virtual Queen of Cups session, okay? So maybe seek the Queen of Cups in your own life, or someone that you know can listen and reflect back to you. And definitely consult that King of Wands when it comes to what should I do with my skills, my talents, my passion, because this person can give you a blueprint. That's what they're saying. Big stuff, Gemini. Do you know what this is? Very curious to hear if you have questions, if you have comments or stories to tell, Gemini. The Tower is always a really interesting card, and I like hearing how that manifests for people, because it can come through in so many different ways. So if you would like to share, I would very much love to hear. And I appreciate you as always for being here, Gemini, and I really hope that your time pays for itself exponentially and that this serves you well throughout the month. And if I don't see you in a video before then, Gemini, then I hope I see you in your August reading. Bye-bye.